The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has expressed dissatisfaction over the execution strategy of the Naira redesign policy initiated by the Central Bank of Nigeria, describing the loopholes as part of the major factors causing scarcity of the new Naira notes being experienced by Nigerians across the country. Director General of the LCCI, Dr. Naira, in a statement noted that the new Naira redesign has triggered varied reactions and feedback that suggests that the related issues like the phasing of old currency notes, withdrawal limits, and the scarcity of the new notes may have started to impact businesses and social livelihoods and beyond intentions. According to Mrs. Almona, while banks have endeavored to meet the currency demands of their customers through the automated teller machines, ATMs, and electronic transfers, the scarcity of the Naira has rendered their efforts ineffective, adding that businesses are suffering the consequences of CBN currency management policy lapses. She, however, urged the Apex Bank to enlighten the public on gray areas about the scarcity of the new Naira notes, in addition to strengthening its policy implementation capacity. But despite moves by the central bank to mop up liquidity in Nigeria's economy, the nation's money supply still rose to an all-time high of 52.14 trillion naira, according to latest data from the Apex Bank. Nigeria's money supply gained 8.32 trillion naira, jumping from 43.82 trillion naira in 2021. That is an increase of 19% year-on-year. In a bid to tame the rising rate of inflation in the country, the CBN Monetary Policy Committee raised the benchmark interest rate by 500 basis points to 16.5% in November and 100 basis points to 17.5% in January 2023. The tightening policy was aimed at reducing the money supply in the country and currency outside the vault of the banks, which is believed to be feeling the inflationary pressure. Well, despite different measures aimed at curbing the fuel scarcity, which is occurring nationwide, ranging from the setting up of a 14-man steering committee to the Chief of Defense Staff's intervention, and of course, Pengerson clamping down on some oil marketers, petrol scarcity still lingers on. Reacting to this economic burning issue earlier today on our flagship business program, Business Nigeria, the Southwest Zonal Chairman of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Mr. Dele Tajuddin, says the available products are limited and independent oil marketers are not able to access it.
The major problem is the undersupply, which is common in any economy, that once the product is not available, government is not doing enough in addressing this issue. Because if they did, I don't think it will linger after this problem. So they should come out, because each time they will tell you they have enough product. I've said it before that we are not being operating on clean level ground. One, independent marketer will buy on credit. I mean, we buy cash on carry, while others buy on credit. As if that is not enough, when we pay, it takes a longer time. As I talk to you, we have people who have paid for the past 3 months to NMP system. As I talk to you, an independent marketer has more than 3 billion naira worth of tickets in NMPC system. I stand to be corrected. And this we can prove if anybody say it is not true. Because I'm a practical man, I am involved, I have filling station, I paid, and the rest of we can say this. So with this, if somebody pay in 3 months and he doesn't get products, what other alternative does he have? Is to go and buy elsewhere. And where we buy elsewhere now is when we buy at a very ridiculous price. And that is why we cannot sell at pump price, because each time they continue to accuse independent marketers. But I'm telling you with all sense of responsibility that we are not being adequately supplied.
The National Agricultural Land Development Authority is working towards developing 100 hectares of animal husbandry farm in Sokoto State. The idea is to make the facility self-sustaining, thereby limiting the movement of cows within the area. Lara Folayan reports.
This animal husbandry and poultry feed mill facility is equipped with cow pens for 500 cows.
as well as the capacity to milk 200 cows at once. It as well has Napa grasses on half of the land mass, which is 50 hectares, for cow feed production. The facilities here also include a veterinary and training center.
Milking parlor will serve both that farm and other cow rearing or other farmers that want to have their cows milked. So now that is partnering with the Prime Ranch, which is the owners of the land, that the one provided the land. They are into full-time farming.
The initiative is geared towards attaining the country's food security objectives while generating employment, hygienic milk production, as well as cow fattening for meat. It as well serves as a platform to train young people towards going into farming businesses.
Is a well-calculated program, and that is why now that's position of encouraging young farmers to go into farming and agriculture, because that is one of the easiest way and the fastest way to engage or to reduce unemployment and also to make money.
The Agricultural Land Development Authorities are working with a private sector-driven ranch to manage the facility for effective utilization in a sustainable and productive manner. Lara Folayo, TVC News, Abuja.
Well, the stock market continues with its upward movement, raising trade volumes in various sectors. Let's join Efyong Ekop for detailed reports on markets.
The nation's stock market is staying steady with increasing price jumps following renewed interest in companies' equities by investors. Trade index was up by nearly half of a percentage point as price gains were thrown up in trade sectors. In the oil and gas group, Seplat recorded 10% increase on its price after long hours of trades. Many other gainers followed, and they included Northern Nigeria Flour Mills, International Energy Insurance, and NACO in the aviation sector. Companies that lost price values were Guinness, Adova, Academy Press, RT Briscoe, and Cornerstone Insurance. Jet volume of 200 million units of shares was recorded at the close of transaction. Efyong Ekop, TVC News, Lagos.
Asian stocks market steadied today with signs of a slowdown in U.S. wages, bolstering hopes that the Federal Reserve could end interest rate hikes at its meeting later in the day. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan was up 0.6% by mid-session, followed by 1.2% drop on Tuesday. While Japan's Nikkei was flat, the market is anticipating some pushback from Powell, although it's difficult to pin down how much is enough to convince the market. In the money market, currency trade has been on the holding pattern ahead of Federal Banks of England and European central banks meetings. The dollar dropped for a fourth straight month in January and lost 1.5%, and the euro 0.8%, and the yuan, while both pairs were steady in Asia, while the euro is standing at $1.86 per dollar.